Lard of the Dance is a pretty great episode of The Simpsons. This is kicking off the 10th season. It's the first episode, directed by Dominic Polcino, and it's got 7.6 out of 10 on IMDb. Ordinarily, that would not be a very great rating for The Simpsons, but as I found with season 9, that's actually quite a respectable rating after this point. I quite liked it, partly because we have a brilliant guest voice, which I will talk about in a moment, but I also kind of liked the greasy business side of it. I liked how that played out. Pretty much all of this is set in Springfield Elementary, and it works very well as a location for both of the narratives. So we have the Grease aspect, where we have the Lard of the Dance, but actually Lard of the Dance is a brilliant title because it ties in the two narratives. The Lard aspect is because Homer and Bart decide to start their own grease business, and they realise that by taking grease from restaurants and things, they're stepping on the toes of other people. But then they realise that there's one place where there's a lot of grease in the cafeteria, Springfield Elementary, and they go there and try and steal the grease, but Willie is maybe not having it. And we get quite a bit of Willie in this one, and I really like him as a character. Being Scottish, of course, I have a small bias, but I loved him in this, and I really enjoyed watching that aspect of it unfold. The dance part is because there is a dance at Springfield. Lisa has organised this school dance, and needless to say, things don't necessarily go to plan. And part of this is because of a new girl called Alex Whitney, voiced by the brilliant Lisa Kudrow, who is definitely older beyond her years. And the children all seem to just not dance at a dance. And they don't really know how to behave. And it's this really interesting look at that age when children are not young enough anymore to just run around riot, but they're not quite old enough to just dance like they will do when they get older and go to clubs and parties and whatever. And they're in that interim age where they're too awkward to dance on the dance floor, but too mature, and I maybe put that in air quotes, to run around and just let loose. And it's a really interesting look, and it kind of took me back to my, I guess, preteen years when I felt, well, I didn't feel the same for very long, because I was always doing the cha-cha slide and the YMCA, and I never really had any issue with dancing at a disco, because that's why you're there. But definitely there are always people on the sidelines, or people just kind of standing around. And I thought it was really interesting, and it worked very well, and it kind of encompassed a lot of different emotions and feelings that children and preteens go through at these various times in their life. Alex is a character I love to hate at certain times because she's got a pretty awful attitude sometimes, but actually, ultimately, I really liked what happened when the two narratives came together. I can't say more than that without spoiling it, but when the Lard and the dance came together, I thought it was beautifully done. So I really like this episode. I think it's a really great start to the 10th season. Definitely a lot of fun. Lisa Kudrow is obviously a brilliant addition to this episode. It may not be my all-time favourite. I don't even know if it's my favourite in season 10. Maybe, not sure. But either way, Lard of the Dance is a pretty brilliant episode.